This is a quick informational video to teach potential clients the garment production process through me. I made this video because I end up explaining the same things to every client that contacts me, and saying it through a video is much simpler. This will tell you everything you need to know about the process. The two services I offer are pattern making and sampling. Both are required for me to physically create a garment for you. A pattern is the blueprint for a garment. A pattern is pieces of paper, cardstock, or plastic drafted to specific shapes tailored to the measurements of the garment you want to create. This creates the silhouette of the garment. This is an example of that. Normally, when I say pattern making or pattern, I'm referring to this, not a pattern on the garment itself, for example, a stripe pattern or a plaid pattern. A pattern can be created from specific measurements which the client must provide. Most people are inexperienced with this, so I recommend that they provide a reference garment. A reference garment is a piece that you have that you like the fit of that we can replicate. For example, if you want to make a pair of jeans and you have a pair of Acnes that fit you well, we use the Acne jeans as a reference. This is the most common form of providing measurements to make the pattern. This is not only done by my clients, but is popular in the industry as well. Pattern making is a skill set that I charge for as a service, and it allows you to make future garments of that size. To make multiple sizes, you must grade the pattern. The pattern will be drafted in a sample size, for example, large, and can be graded to small, medium, and extra large at an additional cost from a separate service. I do not offer grading as a service yet, but I recommend clients to use Create a Marker in New York City. This is their information. If you've already had a pattern maker make a pattern for you, then I would not charge you for that service as long as it's provided. Once you have a pattern, you can use that to cut and sew the sample, and the cutting and sewing of the sample is a separate service that I charge for. A sample is the individual garment that you've designed. It is the final physical product which you use for shoots, marketing, etc. To create a sample, the client must provide materials. Materials are fabrics, trim, hardware, etc. that are required to create the garment. This is required of the client and not of myself, as I do not keep a stock of materials on hand for every client. The client must supply the materials. Listed here are several places that you can source fabrics, hardware, and trim from. Different garments require different fabrics. For example, jeans are made of denim and also require a button, zipper, pocket fabric, and interfacing. While I provide interfacing, the rest of the materials are to be sourced by the client. If requested, I can advise you on what fabrics you should purchase for your garment. So in all, here's the list that explains what is required from you to make the garment through me. First, measurements in the form of a tech pack or otherwise, or a reference garment or reference pictures in some cases will be enough. Second is materials, for example, fabrics and hardware for the product. And last is the payment. I require the full payment up front before I make a pattern or sample. In some rare cases, in orders for $700, $800 and up, we can do a 50% deposit, but usually I require full payment up front. Here's a general list of my pricing based on simple silhouettes of these garments. If you want to add details like pockets that require extra work, these prices will change for your quote. The final part of this process, of course, is getting a bulk of garments produced, for example, 20 t-shirts or 30 jeans. I only offer bulk production on a case-to-case basis depending on what is lucrative for me to do. Most of the time, I just don't offer that as a service. I can do my best to advise you on where to get production done. Understand that I am not responsible for figuring that out for you, but I can do my best to advise you on where to look. The only services I offer are pattern making and sampling. In the future, I hope to provide production, grading, and material sourcing services, but currently I do not. When you're ready, you may contact me with your designs via this email, also included in the description, for a quote.